My name is Joacim. I'm here to talk about smart buttons. I'm one of the founders of Flick, or Shortcut Labs, and we are in the business of smart buttons. And this is one of our smart buttons that we do, small, wireless and connected buttons. How many of you know what Flick is? Awesome, nice. Does anyone use Flick for home automation things? At least, okay. I see maybe 6 people. That's cool. For those of you who don't know, Flick is a wireless smart button. We control different services and devices with it. You configure it in the Flick app. So whatever you want to happen to when you click the button, or when you double-click the button, or if you hold it down, you set that up in the Flick app. You can do very much kind of different things with the Flick button, but smart home is definitely the most used use case. So I was asked to tell a little bit about our story as a hardware startup in Stockholm. We haven't talked in the hardware startup meetup group yet, so I'll just give a little bit. How do you do a hardware startup in Stockholm? It started off in 2012. I had this idea. I tried to quit with snooze. And more or less, I did an application for a smartphone with a big green button in the middle. It said, just press this button when you take a snooze, and it's for quantified self or whatever. I always want to measure how much I take, right? And so I make this application, but it's super complicated, to pull up the phone all the time to find that application just to push that single button. So what happened? I got the idea of just, okay, what if we extract this button instead to do something physical about it? Great idea, maybe not, but I did get this Stockholm Innovation grant for it, which was the kind of launch pad for the company. We went to KTH Incubator. I can recommend that if you're based here at KTH, very good incubator. We then got into an incubator in San Francisco. So we went there for a while. We got a loan from STHLMHW, so it's all very the path that you're supposed to take. We did a crowdfunding campaign that was widely successful, I think at the time, maybe Sweden's largest crowdfunding campaign. After that, finally, we got an investment and we got shipping the product. This all seems like a smooth ride. I'll just tell you all the times that we were close to dying. First off, when you have this idea, you obviously have no time because obviously you have a full-time job and everything like that. So we were very close to dying, but I did get the grant. After that, I didn't have a team, so that was, difficult. I did get into KTH Incubator, and I met a great team. So this is the 2 other co-founders, Amir and Pranav. Very happy to have them with me. We realized quickly we didn't have any competence. We were very close to dying there. We had no idea how to do it. We got to San Francisco. Things didn't exist at the time, I had to say. It existed a bit later. But we went to San Francisco in 2014, and we got some experience. So that was really good. But we realized that the product that we had was, it's very unattractive. No one wanted it. It was ugly. It has an ugly name. So obviously we didn't have any money either because we realized we had to remake the entire design and the entire name and the branding. We had to do that. I think we had about 2,000 crowns on our bank account. We were in San Francisco, didn't know how to get home when we got the 2 million loan from STHLMHW, which is awesome. But we still didn't have any customers, no investors. No one actually wanted the product, at least in the eyes of the investors. So we did this crowdfunding campaign to see is there a market for this, and there really was. Like a lot of people wanted it, so that was good. But even though we raised almost $1 million, that's not enough. That's really not enough. So we didn't have any money, and we were rejected by investor after investor, realizing that these new crowdfunding campaigns, they're never going to make it. This was before Oculus, by the way. But finally, we did get some investment. We were really close to dying before that. And I don't even want to start talking about how difficult it is to, even though this is a very, very simple product, how difficult it is to get it out the door. A bit of our journey. So another thing that we do is what I'm holding in my hand right now. This is a KTH button, but we do a lot of B2B white label stuff, buttons that you connect to your own application in one way or another. We have a lot of different business customers, big brands. We're very proud of that. Very different verticals, but security, I think, is the largest one, where Bosch is one of our customers, basically alarm buttons for different applications. We had a lot of PR campaigns. We didn't pay for any of these. It was Domino's Pizza did a order pizza button, huge campaign. Hövding did a very big thing. It was only real big in London, but you press the button to mark a spot on your map, on a map. So this is a dangerous bicycling path. And then you send an email to the mayor of London saying, you got to fix this road. And he got like, I don't know how many thousands of emails saying the same thing. But a successful campaign promoting bicycle safety. This other thing is from Clarion Hotel, who did a PR campaign about a Save Me button. So when you're at a boring conference, you press the Save Me button. And then the staff from the hotel comes in with champagne and confetti and livens things up. So these are three PR campaigns. You can say that even though we kickstarted our consumer business, it was these PR agencies that kickstarted our B2B.
Could you get the mic a little closer just so that
Okay. All right, like this. It's better. So it feels like I'm screaming. All right. The last thing that we did any one of you see the Flick Hub? It was our latest crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, also very successful. Basically, you don't need your phone anymore. You don't need any applications, no logins, just buttons for you to push. And we're just shipping it right now. It looks like this. Isn't this like the sleekest, sexiest home automation hub you've ever seen? Yeah. Very proud of that. You can connect like a little IR accessory that actually works well as well. Very proud, very good reviews for the product as well. It wasn't developed as a home automation product from the start. It was actually a reaction of things we had to do for our B2B customers. So when we started in 2013, the company was called 50 Buttons Each AB, and we wanted to make buttons that people could just do whatever they want with. I have always wanted a button to make ice cream, and then I didn't have that button, so I wanted to just for people to show express their creativity was the idea. We wanted people to come up with awesome ideas, and we had these ideas of funny PR campaigns that we can do with whatever can you do with a button. But that's not what happened. When we released the product, we realized everyone bought them for smart home. I didn't even like smart home. Amir, who was, who's another co-founder, he loves the smart home. But we realized that, okay, what people really want, what our customers really want, they're men in the 30s. All of our customers are men in the 30s, sorry. They want this button, they want the button that turns on Barry White and turns the bedroom red. I've never heard of a woman actually wanted that functionality, but that's what people bought our buttons for, home automation. So we did that. We implemented all the functionality that, that people used in smart home, the big brands. The incentive at the time in 2015 was really about customer experience. And you had the Philips Hue, you had Sonos, Lifex and Wemo just starting up. SmartThings as well was pretty new. These brands were just, at least Lifex and Wemo and SmartThings, these brands were just a couple of years older than us. So we thought we saw the successes of these guys. And for a while, I'd say the brand Flick was almost on par with at least Lifex and Wemo. We didn't come that far yet. We'll come that far soon. but we really had a problem with Bluetooth Low Energy connection to the phone. iOS and Android having really big problems with their Bluetooth Low Energy. So the product wasn't quite, reliable as these brands were. Today there are a lot of smart buttons on the market, a lot of different buttons that you can control, especially smart home for. So they realized, or they really niched down into smart home, so you can control your different things with it. All of these came after us, and Flick is almost always the lowest cost option, the smallest cost option, and the option that you can do most different things with, like the widest variety of things. But if you do have a dedicated smart home system, there are definitely better options. Today in smart home, and I think we'll hear more about that soon, it's all about voice, as you know. And suddenly all the big companies, Amazon, Google, and Apple realized that, hey, there's a space here. We can try to own the home domain. Alexa was first, as you know, really smashing it. We met with Google Home in January this year. In October, they launched the Home Mini, and they said that since then they sold one Home Mini every second since the launch. And so I just heard 2 days ago that Google Home Mini has sold more units than Amazon Echo, even though they don't get any PR at all. So Google is really winning this race now. Just a couple of months ago, everyone thought that Alexa was winning the race, but now Google is winning the race. We'll see what happens with Apple later. So the question, why would you still use buttons when you can just use voice, when you can tell your lamps to turn on? Can you see this? Well, basically, it's all becoming simpler and simpler. As it says, as services become more intelligent, less interactions are needed from us humans. So when investors always tell me that, why would you need a button where you can just talk to your things? I'd say, yeah, you can talk with your things now. Tomorrow you won't even have to do that. You can just push a button. But it's true. We are very confident that the market for smart buttons will explode very soon, and we are the leader of that market right now, and we intend to keep us there. I think Gizmodo said it pretty well. I don't think you can see what it says, but why people like Flick and the Flick Hub is just about that there's a problem with voice. It's not always as easy as you want it to be. And for the simple things, to just turn on the lights, for example, to change the song to the next, it's too complicated. If you want to do that several times a day, if you want your children to be able to do that, if you want your guests to be able to do that, it's easier and better with buttons. So we ask a lot of people, we ask everyone actually with a survey, why did you buy Flick? And more common is that they bought a home automation system that they could control with Google or with Alexa or whatever. And then they realized the limitations of voice. Very common is that, okay, I want to be able to control my home automation stuff when my wife or my husband is still asleep. And then I can't use voice. So that's very common. And also they say, I want to be able to do a lot of different things on a single click. You can do these kind of things with Google now, but you couldn't before. But it's very easy with Flick. Bathroom is also a common use case for Flick. It's not too easy to scream to Alexa when you're in the shower. Those are just some of the reasons. But people also ask us more recently a lot about why don't you connect to Alexa? Why don't you work with Google Home? Why don't you work with HomeKit? And these are quite honestly the reasons. Pretty much any home control things that make sense to control with a button, you can already do with Flick. So if you bought your Flick, there's no reason for whatever system to be in between. But there is also not technically possible. So it's that. HomeKit is a little bit different. It's very expensive and hard to make HomeKit compatible hardware. It becomes very expensive. People don't want to pay too much for a button, although there are several buttons, including Logitech and Fibaru, who made HomeKit devices. It's not good, and they lose their relationship with their customer. Such as us, we want to be able to have a communication with our customers and not just shipping hardware to Apple's ecosystem. Finally, it's really poorly designed for buttons. It's like HomeKit is always asking, have you been pushed? Have you been pushed? We don't want the system to work like that. It's very inefficient. We want to, push the message that it was pushed. So the Flick Hub, a little bit about that. It was, as I said, it was designed for restaurants and hotels primarily. So we had a lot of customers that wanted to do, one or two buttons on each table, one button in each hotel room, one button in each conference room, things like that. So we designed a product that could do that with a lot of features that they needed. The most important things here, it says 64 simultaneous connections. The most important things what that a single hub can do a lot of buttons at the same time, each one individually programmed. We can do 64, which is a pretty big technical thing. That's very difficult for others. And then we realized that, okay, maybe we can release this as a consumer product as well. So we added some stuff for home, IR Blaster, Ethernet. We added, and it worked. So we got over 6,000 pre-orders for the product. This is what you can do with the Flick Hub today. You can connect buttons to control all of those things. If you have any of those, you can use the Flick Hub. We're also soon releasing new things. We're releasing new things all the time, of course. This is what it looks like to ship 1,000 Flick Hubs. We had 6,000 of them. So in case any of you actually ordered the Flick Hub, I'm sorry you didn't get it yet. It's very complex logistics. We've shipped about half. This is the Flick Mansion. It's 2 minutes away. We are 13 people today. Come by if you're interested in smart home, if you're interested in hardware. We're always happy to have a coffee. We have to say we're hiring, of course. If you feel that we're always hiring good people in Stockholm, here at KTH. If you feel that any of those roles, please come and see me. I won't be able to stay for too long. So if you have any questions, either now or soon. Thank you.